Welcome to Us Crazy Christians, where we uncover Christian myths and Bible misinterpretations with common sense Christianity. I'm your host, William E. Smith, and today we're going to talk about the truth of what happened to Breonna Taylor. Stick around. I usually avoid these kinds of conversations. These kind of situations can affect me too deeply, and my rationale has a tendency to go out the window, and my anger can overtake me. So I made a decision many years ago to avoid racial issues. Because when I was younger, I had a tendency to take things too far. Just like I took my religion too far. I was extremely fanatical and over the top. I was the teenager who would walk up to the wino and knock his beer bottle out of his hand and started preaching the gospel to him. Or stand up on a Grand River bus in Detroit and yell out to everybody, repent, repent, for the kingdom is at hand. I'd walk up and interrupt a crack cocaine buy and start preaching the gospel. I could go on and on. I was fanatical and extreme for many years. I'm blessed that I survived that foolishness. But I know that if I had taken up the cause of civil rights, I would have taken that too far as well. And more than likely, I'd either be dead or in prison right now. But I've matured, and now I currently have much more control over my emotions. But lately, I've been bothered by how many black people have faulty information about what happened to Breonna Taylor. I constantly have to keep correcting people about the facts of this case. And so that's why I'm doing this video. Now, when black people spread this misinformation, I know it's not on purpose. I don't believe that they are being vindictive or trying to skew the truth. They just have misinformation. And a lot of times what we tend to do is just go off of what we heard, what somebody said to us without checking the facts. And people do that a lot. Even that's one thing I deal with on this channel a lot. We are too quick to accept information without taking the time to check the facts. It's simply easier to just repeat what we've heard. Church folk do it all the time in regards to the Bible, in regards to God. We repeat something we heard our praying grandma say or Bishop so-and-so said, researching the scriptures for ourselves. We just assume they gotta be right. They're a bishop. That's my praying grandma. She's been in church for years. Not realizing that a lot of times they're simply repeating something they heard and they probably haven't checked the scriptures either. But this channel, Us Crazy Christians, is designed to challenge those biblical and scriptural myths about God and the Bible. But in this video today, we're going to challenge the myths about what happened to Breonna Taylor. I've heard several African Americans, including some famous black people, say that the Breonna Taylor case is different from George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Philando Castile, and other innocent blacks murdered by the police because she was in a drug house with her boyfriend who shot and killed a police officer. This is all false information. On March 13th, 2020, after midnight, while Breonna Taylor was asleep in the bed with her boyfriend, police burst into her home. Boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, a licensed gun owner, grabbed his gun, believing he and his woman were being attacked in their home. Police didn't announce themselves. And because Kenneth and Breonna were not a drug house and were not into any illegal activity whatsoever, there was no reason for them to imagine that would be police trying to break down their door. Breonna's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, had an absolutely clean record. He had never been arrested for anything. He was a law-abiding citizen trying to defend and protect his home and his woman. He fired a shot downward in an attempt to scare the intruders off. The bullet struck an officer in the leg, and in retaliation, the police shot about 32 shots into the home, with 6 or 8 striking Breonna Taylor. The police did not rush her to the hospital to save her life. All 3 police officers had their body cameras off so their stories could not be verified. Why were all of their cameras off? Breonna's mother says that the police told her that Breonna was taken to the hospital. She immediately left to go to the hospital and was there for hours. And come to find out, the truth was that Breonna was still laying in the apartment dying or already dead. But the police sent her away. Why? Why would you do that unless you were trying to cover up something? I'm telling you right now, as a black man living a non-criminal lifestyle, if I hear anything at my door after midnight, no part of me is going to assume that it's the police. I am immediately assuming there is an intruder or intruders attempted to break into my apartment to do me or my family harm, and I am immediately going to do whatever I can by any means to defend them, whether it be a gun, knife, bat, etc. And I'm sure you would do the same. Let me be honest and say that I do not believe that the police went to Breonna's home with the intent to kill her or anybody. But I do believe that once they realized they made a huge mistake, they went into self-preservation mode and began to try to fix their story, to cover up their story. They even went so far with trying to charge Breonna's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, with attempted manslaughter or attempted murder in an attempt to cover up what they had done. But those charges were immediately dismissed without prejudice. The police kept changing their stories. First, the police said there was no forced entry, and they knocked, but the door would burst off the hinges. Plus, they had a no-knock warrant. So why knock? The first police report said that Breonna Taylor had no injuries, but she was dead with at least six bullet holes in her. Seems shady to me. But again, the purpose of this video is just to share the facts so that at least we can be educated about what happened that night to the best of our ability. But again, the purpose of this video is simply to clear up the confusion about Breonna Taylor's death. But if you want to go into more detail or get much more accurate and better information about this kind of stuff in general, there are some people that I really love listening to. I love the way they articulate our black plight. Tamika Mallory, Trevor Noah, Ricky Smiley, Roland Martin, and Patrice Khan. They are all much better at this than I am. Breonna Taylor was an innocent 26-year-old woman asleep in her bed. She was an EMT serving her community, a model citizen, and 100% did not deserve what happened to her. Something needs to be done about this senseless murder. Someone needs to be held accountable. But first, we gotta at least get the facts of Breonna Taylor's story right first. I love how Charlemagne from the Breakfast Club said it. He said, "This is not just a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue." I absolutely agree. If you want to see more from us crazy Christians, please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you're a returning guest and haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's free. Plus, hit the notifications bell to be notified every time we post a new video. Thanks for watching us crazy Christians. Until next time, be blessed.